What if I told you that the person with $0 in their bank account has a bigger advantage than the person with 10,000? I know, that sounds insane, but stay with me for 60 seconds, because what I'm about to show you is the exact strategy that nobody on the internet is willing to teach you honestly. Not because it's complicated, but because if you actually understood it, you'd realize you don't need to buy any course, any program, or any shortcut. You just need to understand one thing. The reason most people never build wealth is not because they don't have money. It's because they don't understand what money actually is. And once you get that, everything changes. Let me start with the belief that's quietly costing people their entire future. Here it is. I'll start building wealth when I have more money. That sentence, right there, that is a trap. Warren Buffett has said something that most people hear, but very few truly understand. He said, "The most important investment you can make is in yourself, not in the stock market, not in real estate, not in crypto, in yourself." Because here's the brutal truth about money that nobody wants to say. Money doesn't create wealth. Behavior does. And behavior starts with what's inside your head, not what's inside your bank account. Think about this for a second. There are thousands of people who've won the lottery, 6 figures, sometimes millions. And within 5 years, they're completely broke. Not just back to zero, actually in debt. Why? Because the money arrived before the mindset did. And without the right foundation, money just flows right back out, like water poured into a broken cup. Psychologists call this the sunk cost trap. It's when people keep repeating the same behaviors, spending, avoiding, waiting, because they've already invested so much time and identity into those patterns. They say things like, "This is just how I am," or "People like me don't get ahead." That story is costing them everything. And if you're being honest with yourself right now, you've probably felt some version of it too. The feeling that you're working hard, but the number in your account never really moves. You're not lazy. You're not unlucky. You're just operating with the wrong system. Today, we're going to change that. Before we talk about any strategy, before skills, money, or systems, I need you to do something a little uncomfortable. I need you to change how you see yourself. Not fake it, not pretend, actually change. Here's what I mean. Right now, if someone asked you to describe your financial situation, what words come to mind? Struggling, behind, stuck. Here's the problem with those words. They're not just descriptions. They become identities. And your brain is wired to make decisions that confirm your identity. If you see yourself as someone who's always broke, you will subconsciously make choices that keep you broke. You'll avoid risks. You'll spend impulsively. You'll procrastinate on learning. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner for over 50 years, once said, "Spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. But before you can get wiser, before you can build anything, you need to see yourself differently. You are not broke. You are pre-wealthy." That shift might sound like a small thing, but it changes everything about how you act. A pre-wealthy person doesn't waste their Saturday scrolling. They ask, "What skill can I learn this weekend?" A pre-wealthy person doesn't spend their first $200 on things they don't need. They ask, "How can this $200 make me $400? A pre-wealthy person doesn't wait for opportunity. They build themselves into someone opportunity can't ignore. That identity shift is the real starting point, and it starts right now in this moment. Okay, now let's talk about the actual strategy. You're at zero. No money, no connections, maybe no direction. That is completely fine, because the first step has nothing to do with money. The first step is understanding what you actually have right now. Even if your bank account says zero, you have 4 things that are worth more than most people realize. You have time, you have energy, you have attention, and you have access to the internet. In today's world, that combination is genuinely powerful enough to change your entire financial future, but only if you use it correctly. Most people don't. They consume, they scroll, they watch, they absorb, but they never create. And that's the gap. The people who actually build wealth aren't just consuming information. They're applying it. They're building skills. They're solving problems. They're becoming valuable. And here's the thing about value. Warren Buffett has been saying this for 50 years. Money is simply a reward for solving problems. The bigger the problem you solve, The more consistently, the more reliably you solve it, the more money flows toward you. So your first question should not be, how do I make money? Your first question should be, what problem can I solve? And right now, with zero experience and $0, the fastest answer to that question is a high-income skill. Here's what that means. A high-income skill is something that solves a real problem, is in demand right now, and can be monetized quickly. We're not talking about something that takes years to master. We're talking about things like video editing, copywriting, social media management, graphic design, sales writing, or content creation. Small businesses need these skills desperately. Creators need them. Companies pay hundreds of dollars per project for people who can deliver. And here's the most important part of this whole step. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be good enough to deliver a result. Pick one skill, not 5, not 3. 1. Spend 2 to 4 weeks in focused daily practice. Watch tutorials, study real examples, build practice projects. Even if no one pays you for them, get your hands dirty. Think about someone learning video editing for the very first time. In week 1, the software is confusing. The timeline looks like a foreign language. Simple cuts take 20 minutes. Frustrating, doesn't even cover it. But at week 3, something shifts. They understand the basics. They can cut clips cleanly, add music, sync audio, create a final product that actually looks professional. Is it perfect? No. Is it usable? Absolutely. And that's the moment everything changes. Not when you're perfect, when you're useful. Now here's where most people make their next mistake, and it's a big one. They think getting good is the hard part. It's not. The hardest part, and the part nobody ever talks about, is what happens the moment you're actually ready to offer that skill to the world. Because this is where the real psychological battle begins. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire because he was smarter than everyone else. He became a billionaire because he started at 11 years old. He bought his first stock at 11 with pocket change. And the belief that got locked into his brain from that single moment was simple. I can make money work for me. That belief compounded over a lifetime. That's why he's worth over $100 billion today. Your first dollar works exactly the same way. It's not about the amount. It's about the belief it creates. The moment you earn your first dollar from a skill you built yourself, something shifts inside you. The story in your head changes from, I don't know if I can do this, to, I know I can do this. And that shift is worth more than any amount of money. So how do you get that first dollar? Here is the exact process. Step 1, build your skill to good enough level. You have that now. Step 2, find someone who needs it. This is simpler than it sounds. Small businesses, content creators, local service providers, they all need video editing, content writing, social media management. They need it constantly, and most of them can't afford expensive agencies. Step 3, reach out directly. Don't wait for them to find you. Message them on Instagram. Send a short, specific email. Show them a sample of your work, even something you made for practice. And here's the part that makes most people nervous. Offer to help them at a very low price, or even for free. Yes, free. I know that sounds backwards, but here's the logic. At this stage, your goal isn't money. Your goal is proof. One completed project, one happy client, one real result, because now you have something to show, a story to tell. Credibility that no amount of claiming can create. Morgan Housel, one of the best financial thinkers alive today, wrote something I think about often. Getting wealthy and staying wealthy are different skills. And I'd add, starting from zero is a third skill entirely. It requires a different kind of courage. The courage to show up before you're ready. The courage to do the work before the reward arrives. Most people want to wait until they feel confident, but here's what they don't realize. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. So you do the work, you deliver the result, you collect the proof, and you start to climb. Quick pause here. If this is making sense, and I mean actually making you think differently about money, not just feel motivated, make sure you subscribe before we go further, because what I'm about to show you is the exact mistake that keeps most people stuck between $1,000 and $5,000. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's talk about momentum. After your first few small projects, something changes. You get faster, you understand what clients want. You start feeling like this is actually real. And slowly, $10 becomes 50. 50 becomes 100. 100 becomes 300. 300 becomes 500. You're not rich, but you are no longer at zero. And this is where your first real milestone appears. $1,000. $1,000 matters, not because it changes your life financially, but because of what it proves. You're no longer experimenting. You are operating. You've built a skill, found real clients, and delivered real results. That's a business. A small one, yes, but it's real. To reach this level, focus on three things. First, delivery. Every single project should be slightly better than the last. Not perfect, just better. Second, relationships. Happy clients repeat. Repeat clients send referrals. Referrals cost you nothing and pay you well. One strong relationship built early can be worth thousands of dollars over time. Third, reputation. In freelancing, in business, in any field, your reputation is your most powerful marketing tool. Do what you say you'll do. Hit your deadlines. Communicate clearly. That's all it takes to stand out from 90% of the competition. Now here's the trap. You hit $1,000, maybe even $2,000, and the temptation becomes overwhelming. You've worked hard. You deserve a reward. This is where most people stop growing. They buy things they don't need. They upgrade their lifestyle before they've upgraded their income. They try to look successful instead of becoming successful. Warren Buffett has lived in the same house since 1958, a house he bought for $31,000. He drives himself to work. He eats a simple breakfast every morning. This is a man worth over $100 billion. Why does he live this way? Because he understands something most people never do. Every dollar you spend today is a future dollar you've eliminated, and every dollar you invest today is a future dollar you've multiplied. This is delayed gratification, and it is one of the most powerful forces in wealth building. So here is the rule that separates people who stay at 1,000 and people who reach 10,000. Reinvest before you reward. Treat your first earnings as fuel, not finish lines. Maybe that means buying better software. Maybe a course that sharpens your skill. Maybe a tool that saves you 5 hours a week. Whatever it is, use money to make more money. That one decision changes everything. Now we're getting to the part that almost every beginner video skips. Leverage. Here's the truth. If you're only trading time for money, you have a ceiling. There are 24 hours in a day. Even if you charge more per hour, you're still limited. To go from $2,000 or $3,000 to $10,000, you need to stop thinking like a freelancer and start thinking like a builder. What does that look like in practice? It means creating systems that multiply your output without multiplying your hours. Simple example. Instead of editing every video completely from scratch, you build templates, reusable intro sequences, transition effects, color grades, workflows. What used to take 4 hours now takes 90 minutes. You just multiplied your capacity without working a single extra hour. That's leverage. Another example. Instead of hunting for clients one at a time, you create one piece of content that demonstrates your skill publicly. A short demo reel on LinkedIn, a before and after post on Instagram, a sample you share for free. Now clients start finding you. You've replaced 10 hours of cold outreach with 1 hour of smart creation. That's leverage. Charlie Munger called this the Lollapalooza effect. When multiple forces combine and push in the same direction, the result isn't additive, it's explosive. Skill plus system plus reputation. That combination doesn't add up, it multiplies. And at this stage, around $3,000 to $5,000 in, you need to make one final shift. Stop relying on a single source of income. One client, one skill, one stream, that's fragile. One slow month, one lost client, one unexpected obstacle, and you're back to zero emotionally, even if the bank account is still intact, so you start expanding. Keep your main skill. But explore what's adjacent. Maybe you turn your editing skills into a YouTube channel that teaches others. Maybe you create a small digital product, a template pack, a workflow guide that earns while you sleep. Maybe you recommend tools you already use through affiliate links and earn a small percentage of every sale. Now your income has multiple legs, and something powerful happens when money starts arriving from multiple directions. You stop feeling desperate. You stop accepting bad clients or low rates. You start making smarter decisions from a position of strength, not fear. That's when real wealth starts building. Here's something that almost every 0 to 10,000 video ignores completely. The moment you start earning, even small amounts, you become eligible for a Roth IRA. I know, some of you heard IRA and your attention started to drift. Stay with me. This is more important than it sounds. A Roth IRA is a retirement account where your money grows completely tax-free. You put in money you've already paid taxes on, and when you withdraw it in retirement, you pay zero taxes. Zero. On potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. Buffett understands compound interest better than almost anyone alive. He's described it as rolling a snowball down a hill. The earlier you start, the longer the hill. The longer the hill, the bigger the snowball at the bottom. A 25-year-old who puts just $500 into a Roth IRA and earns an average 8% annually, that $500 becomes over $10,000 by age 65, without touching it once. So here's the specific move. The moment you cross $1,000 in earnings, take $100 to $200 and open a Roth IRA. Put it into a simple index fund, and then forget it exists. That is not sacrifice. That is the most powerful thing you can do with $200. Most people treat their first earnings as a reward. The people who build real wealth treat it as a seed. At $5,000, your mindset shifts again. Survival thinking fades. Building thinking takes over. And this final stretch, $5,000 to $10,000, is actually the most revealing part of the entire journey. Not because it's the hardest, but because it shows you who you really are under pressure. The strategy here is not complicated. It's consistency. No new tricks, no secret tactics, just doing the same things you've been doing. Better, faster, more reliably, every single day. Improve the skill, raise the rates, deepen the relationships, expand the income streams, and when the motivation fades, because it absolutely will, you replace it with discipline. Here's the thing about motivation that nobody wants to say. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. You cannot build wealth on a feeling. Discipline is different. Discipline is a decision. It shows up on the days when you don't feel like it, on the Tuesday when nothing seems to be working, on the Friday when you're tired and it would be so easy to just stop. Buffett doesn't wait to feel motivated before he studies a company's financials. Munger doesn't wait to feel inspired before reading. They built habits, non-negotiable daily behaviors that compound, quietly, invisibly, over years. That's what you're building now. And then one day, and it always feels sudden, even though it's been building for months, you check your account. $10,000. Not given to you, not gifted, not borrowed. Earned, built from zero. Remember what I said at the very beginning? Starting from zero is your advantage. Now you understand exactly why. The person who starts with money but without the right foundation can lose everything in a year. You've seen it happen. People who win the lottery inherit wealth or get lucky early and lose it all because they never built the foundation underneath. But you've built something that cannot be taken away. You've built skills, systems, habits, a mindset that understands how money actually works. And that means you can do this again and again, except faster every single time, because now you understand the rules of the game. Most people never reach this moment, not because they weren't capable, because they never started. They kept waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right amount of money to feel safe enough to begin. But you now know something they don't. There is no right time. There is only the decision to start. Warren Buffett didn't wait for a perfect moment. He was 11 years old with pocket change and a library card. Charlie Munger didn't wait until he had all the answers. He just kept learning every day for decades. You don't need to be Buffett. You don't need to be Munger. You just need to be the version of yourself that starts today. Because $10,000 is not the destination. It's the proof. It's evidence that you are someone who builds, someone who creates value, someone who understands how the system actually works. And once you know that, the only real question left is, how far are you willing to take it? If this video made you think differently about money, genuinely differently, then subscribe to this channel right now. Because I don't just talk about wealth, I talk about the system behind wealth, the psychology, the quiet habits, the compounding strategies that most people never see until it's too late. The next video is going to reveal something that most finance channels are too scared to say out loud. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And one more thing, drop a comment right now. Tell me, what skill are you going to start building this week? I read every single comment, and I will reply. Your $10,000 journey starts with that comment. Let's build.